So maybe I will start with the short introduction of what we want to tell you today. The whole webinar will be around Jira Templates, how to standardize, automate, and scale this. My name is Katarzyna, head of Atlassian services in Deviniti. Deviniti is Atlassian Platinum partner based in Poland, operating all over the world. With me, two of my experts, Barbara and Krzysztof, and the stage is yours for the introduction, guys.
Thanks, Kasia. I will start. Hi, everyone. I'm Barbara. I work at Deviniti for over a few years now, and since the beginning, I had the privilege to support customers from all over the world. Now with my team of Atlassian engineers, I help our clients with administering Atlassian applications. We maintain, develop, and adjust them to evolving business needs on a daily basis.
Hi, my name is Chris. I'm Atlassian engineer in one of the teams in Kasia's department. I'm working in Deviniti almost 3 years. As a Jira administrator, I'm working around 5 years. So I'm more a technical guy.
Perfect. So guys, what you have prepared for us today?
So as we promised, after attending this webinar, you'll be able to create and fully configure a new project in less than 12 minutes. So in our agenda for today, we would like to first of all explain what project templates are. Then we would like to show you the differences between built-in templates in cloud and in data center. Then we will introduce and talk in details about the template factory method. Next, we will highlight the primary benefits of implementation of this method. Of course, the steps of implementation of the method, because this will be, of course, crucial, followed by the live example, also from our internal work, and we will finish webinar as always with a session of questions and answers.
So just a quick information for you. If you have any question, please put it on the chat. We will be answering to all of them at the end of the webinar. And just quick information, yes, the webinar is recording and we will be able to share it after the webinar. Maybe before the content will start, there is a bonus for you. So at the end of the webinar, we will say what we have.
Okay, so first a few words of introduction. Jira offers us a variety of project templates that will help us to quickly set up and launch our projects. What do we get with the project templates? First of all, the issue types. So each project template gives us the needed basics issue types, such as task, bugs, or stories that will help us to categorize and manage our work. Also, we get the workflows, mostly the basic ones, but they will fulfill most of our needs. Of course, if we will be in the need to add new statuses to make our workflow more complicated, more useful in our case, there will be no problem to update it and to make it more compatible with our needs. Also, we will get some features such as, for example, boards that will help us to visualize our works, or, for example, help us to report our tasks to the management. Why do we should use the project templates? It will be easier for us to report them because we will use the uniform structures, simplifying our fields that we will be using. So our all projects will be consistent across the organization. Also, they will be easier for the new people to work with them because we will have the same time, we will be using the same fields, the same screens, the same workflows. They will be having the almost similar, for example, boards. It will be easier for the new member to get familiarized with the new tasks, with the new projects, if they will be looking the same. Also, we will reduce the time with the creating another projects because we will have the template. So it will be just like few clicks and we will have the almost the same project that we have created before using much more time. When we create the project from the basics, from the blank project, It will take us about 12 minutes when we want to add the fields to the screens, create the screen schemes, when we want to use the proper issue types, when we want to set up the workflows, the automations. It will take us more time. If we will be using the templates, we can reduce this time, and we will see during our presentation how much quicker we can prepare the project using the template. Okay, first, what do we have if it goes about the differences between data center and cloud? So in data center, we have only 9 templates of the projects divided in the 3 main categories: the software, service, and the business. We have the same categories in cloud, but also we will have much more predefined templates of the projects. It will be about 50. Of course, they are still growing, so we can encourage in future much more of them. In data center, they are not divided in the, let's call them, team categories. In cloud, there are 12 team categories for the project templates. We have defined HR, IT, sales, and others. Also, we have to synchronize and update them across the instances. When we are using the cloud version, we have all of them connected together, and we can move between our instances. If it goes about also the customization in data center, we can do more. We can have more customization if it goes about the permissions, if it goes about the scheme level control. In cloud, for example, we can give the team that will be working on the project let's call them free hand. If it goes about the configuring, they can prepare the workflow on their own if they will need all managed roles in the projects. They don't need the project administration or Jira administration at all to work efficiently. So that's all if it goes about the differences.
Thanks, Chris. So now I would like to present you the template factory method. So let's first answer 2 initial questions. What is it and why use it? The template factory method is a structured approach. It focuses on project's lifecycle in Jira. This is a procedure of creating and maintaining projects. It helps to keep the order within the whole instance. It's necessary to remember that the method is dedicated to company-managed projects only when talking about cloud hosting, but of course, it's also possible to implement in any data center. Also, important thing is that is beyond native Jira Templates method. Why use it? This systematic way helps eliminate redundant configurations, creates less schemes, and saves time during project creation and also during Jira cleanup, which is being conducted in every environment periodically. Before I move to the details, I would like to start with setting the common ground in terms of nomenclature, because what is the definition of a template in this method? A template here is a new empty project in Jira. This project doesn't serve any team on a daily basis, but works only as a source of predefined configuration. It's also important to emphasize that before we start implementing the framework, this option on which the method is based, so share settings with an existing project, is available in every pricing plan except of the free plan. So it's available in standard, premium, and in enterprise pricing plans. As I mentioned, the method is based on the option called share settings with an existing project. And it's good to know what are implications of using it. So when you create a project and check this option, you need to know that there are 4 schemes that are being shared with. So it's issue type, workflow, screen, and issue type screen scheme. There is also a list of configurations which are not being shared, which are not copied. And these are project category, issue security scheme, components and versions, project role assignment, and board. So now natural question raises, why aren't some settings shared? Because things like boards, components, and versions are highly specific to the context of each project. Also, not cloning dynamic settings will prevent mismatches, for example, of inappropriate role assignments. It also gives the flexibility and accuracy, because leaving non-essential settings uncloned allows teams to customize the new project to their current needs. Naming rules when creating a template may seem obvious or even trivial for experienced Jira admins. However, it's especially beneficial for large environments. It is a good practice not to use too many letters or numbers in project keys when creating projects. And also it's good to have some system for naming new projects. An example for project keys can be to use no more than 5 letters for project key, or never use numbers or special characters for project names, and choosing naming convention. Here I have a few good and bad examples which can be used for a naming convention for your templates and for your projects. It can be divided by department, by market, industry, or focus area. These are only a few examples, but of course it can be adjusted to your organization. So let's take a look at good examples. For the second one, TEM HR onboarding. This is the second one on the left column. It visually distinguishes a template from a project by the prefix. Also, it directly communicates the function that the template will have. The fourth one on the list, US internal support. It clearly indicates the market, so we have the United States, and audience, which means internal audience, and focus area support. It's at the same time short and accurate. When it comes to bad examples, let's also take the second one, HR employee onboarding template 2025. It's overly detailed, and also it has inconsistent formatting. So there's too many information, year is unnecessary, and the formatting is just hurting the eyes. The last one, Europe logistics, sales and marketing template. Again, inconsistent characters usage and confuses the area of interest because it's both logistics, sales and marketing. So that's just too much. So the template factory method described in one slide. Structured approach, which focuses on project lifecycle in Jira. It involves 4 main steps, which are design, standardize, automate and iterate, which I will describe in detail on the next slide. But the expected outcome that we want to achieve is a consistent and high quality project setup that saves time and reduce errors and duplicates. So what are the exact steps to implement the template factory method in detail? The first step is defining standard elements. So analyze and define common elements which are shared across your projects. This will be standard workflows that reflect the processes, frequently used issue types such as tasks, stories, epics, bugs, essential custom fields and values which are required for tracking and reporting, and screens. For example, transition screens like resolution screen or issue operation screens. So the create, edit, and view. The second step is modularize the configurations by using shared schemes. Here, standardized workflows that multiple projects can use. It's also good at this time to set consistent rules for access and collaboration, and to remember about granting only necessary permissions. And remember about Atlassian best practices in this area. So, for example, that we should use roles and groups instead of single users when granting permissions in project. And also uniform communication settings in notification schemes, because again, less is more. We don't want to flood users with too many notifications, because as we all know, they will ignore them and may miss important updates. The third template is create categories and templates. So in this step, we group templates into a dedicated category. We create category, we create templates, and keep them organized and separated from other projects and other configurations. At this step, we choose criteria and the naming convention for the templates. I will show you my example in a few minutes. The fourth step is iterate and optimize, because templates are not set in stone. So continuously gathered feedback will be crucial to identify areas for improvement. So periodical review for unused or duplicated ones will be necessary, not only to keep the order in the environment, but also to make the templates up to date and ready to use. So what are the key considerations when it comes to the first step, so defining standard elements? It's important to ensure that these elements cover most use cases. Also, we should decide at this moment which of them will be mandatory and which of them will be optional. The expected outcome of this step is establishing a clear baseline of standardized elements that form the foundation for the templates. In every step, there will be some challenges. In this one, it will be the fact that diverse project requirements may create conflicting needs. So the action points in here will be, for example, conducting interviews or surveys with key teams or stakeholders to gather their requirements, and also creating a checklist of identified standard elements. In the second step, so modularize configurations, the key consideration will be to maintain simplicity and consistency across projects, because it will have a major impact for planning for future scalability and easy updates. The expected outcome here will be building a centralized repository of reusable configurations. Potential challenges here will be resistance to standardization and difficulty with updating shared schemes across various projects and various different, usually, requirements from users. The action items in this step will be documenting and mapping existing schemes, but what's more important, developing guidelines for modular configuration reuse. In the third step, the key consideration will be ensuring that templates are flexible and adaptable, and including clear instructions or documentation on how to use and customize them. The expected outcome will be ready to use and standardized set of templates. And when it comes to potential challenges, for sure will be need to balance standardization with flexibility and ensure that templates remain relevant in time. Action items here: develop a pilot template or a few templates, pilot templates, and test it with one or a few teams at the beginning. Then collect feedback and refine the template and adjust it. It already includes the fourth step, so iterate and optimize. So in here, what we want to do is gather feedback from users and teams, monitor how the templates are being used and which are being used the most often, and schedule periodic reviews to update and refine the templates. The expected outcome in the fourth and the last step is continuously refined templates that adapt to changing needs, resulting in improved efficiency over time. The action items here will be, for example, setting regular review meetings with project leads or stakeholders, or creating a feedback mechanism based on, for example, on surveys. Earlier, I mentioned that project category is not cloned when creating a new project using create with shared configuration option. So it is necessary to have project admin privilege to set it in the project, and you can find it under project settings in details tab. How does the set of templates and categories looks like in Jira administration? You can have one or more project categories for templates. It will also, of course, depend on how big your organization is and how many projects are in Jira. In my example, I divided templates into 3 categories. They are based on confidentiality level, project type, and target audience. In the confidentiality level, I have 3 project templates for open, restricted, and confidential. In project type, I have a predefined template for Kanban project and for service management. And in the last category, I have divided it by target audience, and I have it configured for commercial usage and for internal usage. Also, how does this look on the projects list? Since templates are normal Jira projects, they will be listed in the Manage Projects list. In the last column, the assigned category is displayed. If you worry about showing these projects to users, there are 2 options for you to choose from, and it's about permissions. You can decide whether you want users to play with the template first before choosing the most suitable one for their needs, so that they can test different workflows associated to issue types. They can check if a set of fields on screens is okay and if they are relevant. However, if you decide to keep templates untouched, you can set it simply as read-only with only browse projects permission, so that users can simply view the project on the list, or hide it all from all users from project leads, which means no browse project permission will be granted to users. As everything, each option has some pros and cons. So for the first option and allowing users to edit the templates, it's necessary to remember about a few things. When it comes to consistency, it will be low because variations may occur across templates. Within flexibility, it will be high because users with project admin permissions can tailor the templates to their needs. With risk of errors, it will be high for the first option, allowing users to edit the templates, because it will be a greater chance for errors or inconsistencies. When it comes to governance, the first option will be definitely more challenging because it will require more often systematic cleanup. Here I have 2 use cases. The first one is allowing users to edit the templates in Agile and phase-based product development. So we decided to allow users to edit the templates. And the chain of thought is as follows. The flexibility needs. Agile teams often need to rapidly adjust their workflows as requirements evolve. The empowerment, granting editing rights to team leads or subject matter experts, enables swift customization without waiting on centralized admin approvals. And mitigation measures. Although this introduces a risk of divergence, the use of version control and clear change guidelines can help manage inconsistencies. So the outcome of this approach is that dynamic templates that can quickly adapt to evolving needs of fast-paced development projects. I would recommend this option when we start testing and implementing the template factory method, just to allow users to play with the templates, because it will give us a better understanding what are the real needs, and we'll be able to prepare the templates better. So now let's move to the case study.
Okay, so we will discuss, I will tell you how do we use the categories that was Basia telling us in our company if it goes about the support projects. So first of all, as you may see, we have set the category to Atlassian Commercial Service Desk. We have decided that we will need mostly 3 of types of the issues. It will be change, incident, and service request. And of course, for the internal use, we have also the tasks. If it goes about the workflows, we have separate workflows for each type of the issue. We are using the same workflow scheme for all of the projects, but each of the issue type has the separate workflow. We decided to make them separately because each of the issue type have different needs, but all of them starts with the same basics. So, for example, all of the issue types have the common statuses as waiting for support, in progress, waiting for the customer response, resolved, cancelled. All of them have the same basics. But in each case, they're having some differences. For example, incident is having status workaround. So we don't need a workaround, for example, in the service request or in the change. It's needed only in the incident. Also, we are having different automations if it goes about our issue types. So we are having, for example, automatics about the taking cover of the SLAs, automations about the notifications in our internal communicators. Also, if it goes about the teams that are, for example, connected with each type of the issue, for example, there are sent more important notifications, for example, if it goes about the incidents, and they are sent to the team leads. If it goes about the screen scheme, we are having the same screen, for each issue type, because it's easier to report them, because we will be having the same pack of the fields used in all of them, but we have the differences on the request types. So the fields that are not needed, they are just changing on our service desk view. So we don't have to use all of them, but we can use the mutual screen scheme for all of our issue types. Now we will move to our use case. I was mentioning that we will create today one of the projects. Basia also was mentioning about the Agile project. So let's focus once again, why we choose this Agile project. It's ideal, it's really detailed project and requires a structured approach. So it will be easier for us to use the template to make it easier to work with all of them on the same level, let's call it. We choose the Agile development also because we will be focusing on the team with a project that is operating in the short sprints. So, for example, in the 2-week sprints, most of the time, the Agile development is cross-functional between a few teams of the development, of the management that must work together, but they need separate space for each of them. It will be also easier for us to report our progress, that will provide clear and visual tracking of our issues. And if it goes about the Agile, let's call them way of working, it will accommodate to our clients' changing requirements during the project. So it will be more flexible for us. Of course, when we use the template, we will get the simple basic workflow, but it's easy expandable. So we will add a few additional statuses that will be useful in our work. We will get the pre-configured custom fields as team that will let us to easily accord the issues to the separate teams. Also, we will get the parent field that will establish our hierarchical relationship between our issues. And, for example, story points that will estimate and track effort of our issues. Also, we will get the pre-configured Agile board that will be our best way to visual interface our progress and to see how does our work is going during a current sprint. We will get also the special reports that we are using in the working with Agile. So, for example, the sprint velocity, progress trends, or for example, the burnout report that will help us to identify the bottlenecks and show us the areas that will need our improvement. Also, we can use the timeline to see where are we at this moment, where are our milestones, what are our deadlines. Also, we can prepare, for example, the forms to collect data for our cooperation with the client. So we can prepare the form for bug reporting or, for example, the feedback about the current version of the app that we are preparing. Okay, so now let's try to see how quick we can create the project while using the template of the Jira template that is built in our Jira Cloud. So let me share the screen. Okay, I hope that you see my screen correctly.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, perfect. So let's choose the Scrum. It's the Agile project. So as I mentioned, we will get the issue types prepared, very simple workflow. Also, I have to move a bit. Okay, perfect. So today we will focus only on the team managed team because we want to leave it for the team more dynamic. We want only to see how does it look like, how much faster do we get it when creating the project with the built-in template. So let's call it testing project 2. Access will be limited only for our users that will be added to the project. Okay, so we don't have any pages prepared yet, so let's move to our project. First of all, we want to update the workflows of our project. At this moment, we have to do in progress done. Let's add waiting for client, and let's add rejected, and maybe let's add also on hold. So let's make it look visual. Let's update the workflow. We want to set it for all of our issue types because we are using the same scheme for all of them. The important thing is that after updating the workflow, Jira will automatically suggest us how our Agile board could look like. Of course, first of all, we have the basic statuses that was set. So we will just make a bit more. Okay, let's reshuffle them a little bit. Still, we have separate column for each of them. But for example, we can move, for example, waiting for client to in progress. We can delete this column. So it will be easier for us to make known that we have these tasks in category in progress, but we are still waiting for the client's response. Okay, so let's close it and let's go back to our project. So as I mentioned, also we have prepared our backlog. Sorry, we have prepared our board. The issues that we will need, the fields that we need in our issue types are already added to our issue types. So for example, we can also prepare some automations. Also here, if it goes about the automations, Jira Cloud will suggest us. Okay.
Small technical problem.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just trust me, or you can check it on your own. For example, Jira will suggest us the automations that will, for example, move the main task, the parent task, if all the subtasks will be completed, for example. So, and the same way will be working if the parent, for example, move to the next step that are needed, that all subtasks are completed. So when moving the parent issue to the next step, all of the subtasks, for example, will be closed. Both of these automations, when we move to the project settings, will be suggested automatically by Jira. So all of the tasks that I was saying in before will take us a much more time. At this moment, creating this project with a template, even when I was explaining it to you, takes 5 minutes, 6, even with my whole flow of the words that I was using in them during this time. So as you may see, using the templates is much better for us because it reduces a lot of time and we don't have to think about a lot of the things. For example, if we have used all of the fields that will be needed during the working on the Agile project. And that's all if it goes about the creating the project.
Okay, so what are the key takeaways from today's session? Regardless of the number of projects and Jira admins, and if you decide to try the template factory method at all, we recommend to set easy and clear naming rules for projects in Jira to prevent confusions and simply make administration easier. Also, it's good to know that the template factory method can be useful if you consider or plan migrating to cloud, and it is for a few reasons. It may help you detect that company-managed projects may not be the first choice anymore when creating new projects, and organization can easily switch to team-managed projects. It can help keep projects and categories in cloud environment clean and well-ordered from the beginning, right after migration. Also, it can help you with cleaning up your Jira data center before migrating to cloud and remove or archive unnecessary projects and schemes which will lead to decreasing the amount of configurations needed to be migrated. The other thing, important thing, is not to underestimate keeping an eye on how the environment grows. So monitor, detect, and adjust what's happening in the environment will definitely help with the daily work. I also accept that the template factory method will evolve. It will not be one-time work because Jira is for teams and not the other way around. It may require adjustments over time to changing business requirements. The more admins, the more teams and projects, the more common approach will be necessary to keep the order in the environment. Also, it's good to know implications of using a shared configuration with existing project option, because it may not be the best choice for some specific in some specific situations. And that's how we've came to an end of what we have prepared for you guys today. So 3 last questions before we move on. If you find it challenging to maintain consistency in project configuration across your Jira, or if you struggled with keeping the workflows, issue types, and all the schemes organized, or if you're not sure where to start cleaning up outdated or redundant Jira configurations, we have something for you.
Yeah, and what we have for you is a bonus of consultation with the people like Basia or Krzysztof from our team. In case you have more detailed questions, something wasn't deep enough for you, then you can spend 2 hours with them and they will answer all your questions connected to templates. So in case any one of you want to use it, you can email me or Krzysztof and we will reply and schedule the call with you. Please expect that after the webinar, you will get the access to the Knowledge Hub. There are materials from the previous webinars, the content we are preparing, videos, and all the material used for creating the series of webinar we are doing. So this will be a link in the follow-up email. In case you want to use this, it's up to you. As we come to an end, it looks like we have a few questions on the chat. So I will start reading them and let's move with the answers. How to deal with the individual requirements regarding available statuses used on Kanban boards? Increase the number of statuses in the template leads to many unneeded statuses in many projects, or derive into individual statuses set for those projects. What's the good practice here?
I can start maybe with information that on boards we can name the columns differently than the statuses that we use under these columns. So we can have specific names for the columns, but keep the statuses general and use the general statuses from our configuration. Of course, there will be situations when users require or insist to have some specific statuses. We recommend to, first of all, try to find some status that already exists, which can work for the user, for the team, instead of the one that they asked for, because this may be some kind of workaround and they may agree to this. I have the example actually from one of our customers from last few weeks, that there were some cleanup works done, and it turned out that from, I think, around 480 statuses, the number of them was decreased, I think, to 350. It's still a lot, I know, it's still a lot, but in the first iteration of the cleanup, I would say still that it was a lot of unnecessary statuses that we get rid of. So it's possible. So my recommendation would be first to try to use specific names for columns on Kanban boards and discuss with customers, discuss with users, and propose some alternatives that already exist in Jira.
If I can add something, you may see the thing that Basia was saying about in my example, that when I was creating the Agile board, for example, the column was called in progress. but I was having two statuses inside of them. So you don't have to create the separate column for each status. You can use columns as the categories of the statuses. So for example, we can still be using only 3 of them. So, waiting for our work in progress and done. All of the statuses, even if we will be using, for example, 40 of them, can be categorized in the 3 columns of this board.
Thank you, Krzysztof, and I believe we can move to the next questions. There are a few of them, and we have only 7 minutes, so let's use it wisely. The next question: are you going to discuss how to scale our Jira boards so that we would be able to scale our project in SAFe? I don't know if the question is not too wide, but if any one of you want to try to answer or go deeply, then let's move. Otherwise, maybe this is a topic for the consultation we propose.
Yeah, from my perspective, it's quite wide question. So I will be happy to discuss it maybe in more detail on consultations and via email. So yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So please reach out to us if you want to go deeply. I believe that those 2 hours should be enough for that. The third question: how modular it is. It was connected with the template factory, Basia, when you were speaking about that. Also, it can assign calendars, SLAs, custom fields on issue types, especially SLAs can take time and it's prone to human error.
So when it comes to Jira service management projects, it's not that simple when it comes to the configuration elements like queues, reports, request types, and SLAs and automation. So in here, I'm wondering.
Yeah, if it was about the SLA, sorry if I interrupt you.
Yeah,
I was looking for it last week, and I saw that Jira Atlassian is working on it. I saw the ticket that they are getting the informations, and they are working on sharing the SLA's calendars between the projects, but only on the Jira Cloud version.
Yeah, so that would be very useful to have such feature.
Thank you, guys, and let's move to the next one because we have 4 minutes. I will start with the really easy one. Can you please share the deck? Yes, it will be shared in our Knowledge Hub, so please look at the email from us and you will be able to get it. Okay, and the one, can we create new templates so we don't have to update stuff, but can actually deploy a golden image that saves us all this manual work with the predefined calendars, SLAs, fields, setups, automations, which I would presume is the point of templates and without using shared settings. Any comment on that?
So as we mentioned, at this moment, we don't have opportunity to share the SLAs, field setups, or the automations. We have to create them. But of course, we can prepare the golden image. So as Basia, for example, was telling us, it's for example, create the service desk basic template for each of you that will be covering all the basic needs. So this is the golden image that you will start with. So you will have the basics that is, let's call it, golden standard in your company, and must have that your project have to be, will be involved when you will be working with them. So yeah, you don't have to specify the template really detailed, but you can create the golden image as it was called here. But unfortunately, all the things that you were mentioning without any additional scripts or other add-ons won't be filled, unfortunately.
Thank you, Krzysztof. And the next one, is there an automated native way to migrate projects from company managed to team managed?
I'm not aware of any automated way of such migration. For sure, according to the Atlassian documentation, it's possible to migrate projects, but it will be necessary to follow the steps in the instruction. And as far as I am aware, now it needs to be done manually.
Thank you, Basia. And the last question, would you be able to advise what would be the best way to managing multiple teams in Jira that would be an example in one Jira project or one Jira project for the business and product level, and individual Jira project for the dev teams, etc.
So in here, I think it would depend on the current situation. I mean, I think we will need more context in this question. But if I would, the first thought that comes to my mind here would be definitely to divide the teams into the specifics of work they do. So separately business, separately development teams, and separately service management teams. But as I mentioned, this depends on a lot of indicators, number of teams, number of people in teams, how the work, who will be the beneficient of the work and how it will be conducted. So it's possible, of course, to combine many teams in one project, but it's necessary to think it through before the decision, because it may be easier for the teams to work within different projects.
Thank you, Basia. And this was the last question we were able to cover today. And please have in mind that the consultation we offered are free for you. So if you want to use it, just use it. Thank you for joining us today. There was a lot of people with us, and I hope you find something interesting for you during this session. And so thank you very much. And this is the end of our webinar today. Thank you to all the people who are writing thank you on the chat right now. And I hope to see you soon on the next webinar we will create for you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure for us.
Thanks. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.